good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Top Boxing, the channel you come to for the other perspective. So by now, you've probably seen hundreds of takes on the Spence Crawford fight. So pull up a seat, sit down. If you're a boxing person and you haven't heard this take, maybe you should. It's subjective. I like Crawford. I like Spence. But I would have to say I don't have any skin in the game. I don't like one guy and I dislike the other. So, having said that, that's just to tell you that I'm objective. And I will give you a layout that I think, at the end, I will tell you who I think has the upper hand on this fight. And like many folks that you've seen give their take, they will tell you, well, it's a 50-50 fight. Because they don't want to look wrong after the fight is over if one guy dominates the other. To me, that's boxing. That's the way it is. You have to navigate the waters, and you have to go by historical data, what you've seen one fighter do versus the other, what you think one fighter can do against the other, and take a stance and go from there. That's what it takes. If you're a boxing pundit, if you want to give your take, I don't think you could take the easy way out and say it's an easy fight, 50-50 fight, and you reserve not to make a pick. I think that's sort of a cop out. I think deep down, every person that says this, deep down, leans toward one guy or the other. Okay, so what did I break it down to? I break it down, I think, 6 or 7 areas I think is going to be important on this fight. So don't leave because I said something you didn't like. I will go over all these things. Youth, okay, versus maturity, okay. Resume, power, conditioning, skills, confidence. And there is a caveat to all those that I just mentioned. Youth, resume, power, conditioning, skills, and confidence. And the caveat is post-weigh-in, hydration. What do these guys blow up to the night of the fight? Okay? So, again, this is Top Boxing. If you haven't subscribed, if you subscribe, I will make more of these things. An objective view, because it seems to me everyone on YouTube has an agenda. A view from someone that's objective, that's going to give you the real objective view of what he or she thinks of the fight. If that's valuable to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll make more videos. You probably say, well, I'm not going to subscribe. This guy doesn't make any videos. He's not consistent. I'll chime in some of the fights I think are the most important. And this one is one of the important ones. And there have been quite a few important fights this year. And I sort of promised to be more active on this channel. But I'm not seeing the movement. And I think every one of you know sometimes it's motivating for people to tune in and watch the channel. So do hit the like button, do hit the subscribe button, and I'll make more posts. All right, so let me go into it. Youth is pretty easy, right? Spence is a younger fighter, but Crawford is a more mature fighter. Experience-wise, Crawford has a few more fights, but here's the kicker. I think Crawford's body, at 35, 36, it's a young body. He takes care of his body. He lives like a fighter. He, from what I know, this is outside looking in, he's always in shape. So I think I give this to Crawford. I don't think youth matters. I think it's null. In this area here, I think it's a pass. I don't think that matters at all. For those of you that are thinking Errol Spence is a younger man, but you have to think about all the trauma that his body has gone through. You know, the eye injury, people tend to forget. You never know. I don't know how much sparring he's doing. I don't know how much, he's going through, going through this fight. I don't wish anyone to get hurt, not the least. He's had some things done, I believe, to his mouth, maybe even his jaw. So a lot of these things can show up the night of the fight, especially in a big fight like this. And Crawford does have pop. So I don't think youth matters in this fight at all. Okay, so we'll jump to resume. I'm not going to the resume so much because everyone has gone through it and cherry picked both of these guys' resumes. To me, I think it's null as well. Both of these guys have fought decent fighters. Both have fought Porter. We've seen what Crawford did versus what Spence did. To be honest with you, I don't want to lose you in this. I thought Porter won that fight. Okay? Besides a knockdown, at the least a draw. But I don't think, I think Crawford did way better. I know it was close in Crawford versus Porter, but I didn't have Porter winning that fight. I thought it was pretty close. I thought, if anything, it was a draw up until the time he stopped him. So I thought those last 2 rounds was going to be quite important for Crawford and Porter. So to me, I think their resumes are, I'm not going to say, they match up well, but you know how Crawford is quite decorated. So, that's a given. He's got multiple weight classes. And Spence has had the privilege of being in the same weight class his whole career. So there's something to be said about a guy like Crawford, the smaller man that's gone up weight and has conquered all those weight classes. So that's a plus for me. So he says that he can adapt. He can take care of his body, make weight easily. He's never missed weight. Those types of things. So youth, don't think it matters. The resume in this case, I think this is one of those fights where the resumes really don't matter. It's going to be it's about those 2 men and what they bring that night. So power, interestingly, we all know Crawford has stopped just about everybody. Okay, so that's a given. The more he goes up in weight, he seems to have carried his power. In fact, seems to be getting stronger. So maybe 147 and 154 are more natural weights for Crawford. So the fact that he may be seen as the smaller man, but that also makes him the more agile man. Okay, so I think we have to take that into consideration. Now, I said there was a caveat to this, and we'll discuss that a little bit further when I say about the hydration. What did this man hydrate to? I'm sure Errol Spence is a big man, especially, what he walks around at. I'm sure he walks around easily 180, 190 probably. So for him to get down to 147, although he looks like he's already on weight, I don't think I've ever seen him on weight so early. I mean, he may have to shed a few more pounds, but he already looks pretty good, pretty cut. I just hope neither man overtrains, his last few weeks before they get to the fight. So, and also understand Crawford came down from those mountains early, so he's climatizing as we speak, going into the fight week. So he should be climatized by the time the night of the fight comes around. So that's also important. I was worried about how long he was going to take to come down to sea level, and he's done that. So hopefully they're doing all the things that they need to be doing to make sure that dry heat of Vegas, that he's used to that the night of the fight. So so for power, I don't think I closed that out. I would give that to Crawford. That's the man that stopped everybody. So, and I don't remember the last time Spence stopped anybody. So that's something too. And this is not no hate on Spence. I actually like Spence. So, but it's not about liking people. It's about being objective. It's about opening your eyes and investigate and actually be able to synthesize what it is that you're saying and put it into words and stay objective. Skills. It's a tough one. Well, actually, it's not a tough one. So I'll be lying if I tell you it's a tough one. I think in terms of skills and the skill sets, I think Crawford, hands down, has that. He has more in his arsenal. Not everybody's going to say he's able to switch and things like that. I think one of the most underrated things that Crawford do is a punch that you don't see. A lot of guys he stopped. It's about those punches that you don't see, and I think that's what Crawford's going to have to. Spence going to have to deal with the night of the fight. Spence had the tendency to jump backwards, right? Especially after he throws that low. Sometimes he'll throw that low, that sternum jab, that stabbing jab, and he'll fall forward. And I would be very careful if I was him. That short left hook from Crawford might be the punch for this fight, okay? Or he'll have a tendency to throw that jab, he'll miss, and his first instinct at defense, from offense to defense, is to jump back. He'll still be in the pocket, he'll jump back, and his chin will be up in the air, and he'll lean back like, okay, you won't be able to reach him. Just know Crawford has those very long arms. And I think Crawford is the type that would follow him out. So watch out for that as well. I think those are the two places Spence will be quite vulnerable the night of the fight. And the thing for Crawford, I think, that's going to be that make him more vulnerable is if he stays on the ropes. Okay, he needs to stay in the middle of the ring, not stay on the ropes and let Errol Spence tee off. Not that Errol Spence is a one-punch guy. He's not a one-punch guy. He's not going to stop him, but he could drain those batteries for those later rounds, which may come into play for Crawford, a guy that starts kind of slow traditionally. So that's what I worry about. Or the second one is getting caught in an exchange with Spence in close quarters. That's the only two things I could see where Crawford could get caught. Okay, against the ropes, or getting caught in a heated exchange where he likes to exchange. Outside of that, if he can maintain those two things, if he doesn't stop Spence, I think to me that's an easy win, because I think he has those skills to box Spence for 12 rounds. So confidence. There's a lot of talk of war or what we're going to do to Crawford and this and that. I'm the big fish. I'm going to reel him in. Crawford has said a few things too. The most boisterous I've ever seen Crawford. So that too is interesting. So both men are going back at each other. But I think this has always been the way Crawford is. He's not out of character. He's that guy with that chip on his shoulder. Okay? Dark-skinned black man growing up in Omaha, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Okay? So, and it's coming with everything on the 29th of July. And I think this is history in the making. I do think Crawford has the upper hand on this fight, in this fight. So, I wish both men well. I hope they walk away with all their faculties. So, how does this fight play out? Okay, how does this fight play out? I think the first part of this fight, between the first round and maybe the fifth or sixth round, if you go back and watch the Errol Spence fight versus Porter, okay, that First part of the 7th round, Porter was boxing beautifully. That first part of the 7th round, I think he kind of flipped the second part of the 7th round. Porter was jabbing on his toes, tapping him. Nice. It was just beautiful boxing. The best boxing I've seen from Sean Porter. Go check out the 7th round if you do think. If you do check that out, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. This is exactly what Crawford is going to do between the 1st and even the 6th round. And if all goes well with that approach, and Errol is not able to make any changes and penetrate that jab, by the 7th round, Crawford is going to put his hands up, okay? Just like he did to Mean Machine, just like he did to Brooks, and he's going to walk Errol down, and he's going to stop him. You can put money on this. Okay? If between the 1st and 6th round, Crawford has his way, he's able to box. By the 7th round, he's going to walk him down, and he's going to stop him. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't do it by the 9th or 10th round. That's how this fight plays out. Okay? If like you said, if he gets out of line, it's going to stop him. He may just do that. And Spence has a puncher's chance, of course. But if he goes to the body early, if he's able to slow down Crawford, which I don't think he will. I think Crawford is more elusive than we think. I think he'll fight smartly, especially the first 5, 6 round. I don't think he'll be on his back foot too much. I think he'll come forward, go back on his back foot. He'll mix it up a little bit. He'll turn Errol. I think it's really hard to grab Errol. He'll elbow you, he'll push you out of the way, but I think you'll find ways to turn him, keep turning him. As he come forward, make him have to reset, tap him upside the head, jab him, turn him, confuse him. Don't let him get his offense off. That's the way to victory for Crawford. And until he buys his time to the little rounds and frustrate Errol. And that's how he wins this fight. That's how he makes history. That's how he becomes undisputed at 147. And for Errol, I would tell him how to win this fight, but I don't see it. Unless Crawford walks into something, I don't see Crawford sitting in the pocket and allow Errol to just get off, textbook style and just get off. I just don't see that. I think he boxes his head off. Unless he decides to trade with him and get caught in the middle of one of these trade shows. I hope he doesn't do it. So let me know what you think. This is Top Boxing, and I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. If you don't remember, I did youth, resume, power, conditioning, skills, confidence, hydration. I don't know if I hit up the hydration. To close out, I don't know how big Errol Spence will be the night of the fight. I don't know. Does anybody know if there's a hydration clause in this fight? I don't think there is. Nobody's really spoken on it. I don't think too many people have spoken about how big Errol Spence, get on fight night. And how big Crawford will get on fight night. I don't think so. I think Crawford will get maybe, I don't think, more than 10 pounds outside of his weighing weight. So let me know if you think dehydration is going to be a factor in this fight. So this is Top Boxing. Thanks for stopping by. One love.